Pilates. I'm Helen, and we're just going to go through our very basic warm-up induction. How do we get started? Let's go together. So we start, and this is how I start all of my classes. This is what I'd encourage you to think about your movement, your posture every day. We start with our feet together. You turn your heels out and your toes out. It's not a big movement, it's enough to put your feet underneath your hips. And most of us find that our feet don't actually need to be that wide. We haven't got great big hips. So feel that position, and then we feel with our feet, the toes, the centre, the heels, a really good strong grounded feeling with your feet. Bend your knees just a little bit and start to lightly bounce, like you see the tennis players do when they're warming up for their game. We want lightness in the legs, and you'll be amazed how many of you find this not a natural position. So if I turn sideways, what we're looking for is this slight looseness in the legs. A lot of you will find that your legs, when you stand, are like this, completely straight, locked out. This is called hyperextension in the legs. We're born, that's how we are. We are made that way, some of us. So we just try and correct that position a little bit, adjust it, to make the muscles more even in the legs. Then you put your hands on your hips. Find these bony bits, your front pocket areas, and just take hold of your pelvis. We're going to move the pelvis. So you'll just try and tip your pelvis forward, enough to lean forward a little bit. Look at your toes. Feet still in the right position, yes. Okay, take these front pockets and tip them back. So you're now tipping back more towards your back pockets and your bottom. And you'll look up at the sky slightly. So we felt the forward position, the backwards position. Now we're going to come back to the middle, where our hips feel level. So if I do this sideways, I've tipped forwards, I've tipped backwards, and now I've come to where the centre is. I feel level, I feel like my body is centred over the bucket of my pelvis. Okay, so we're centred, we're light, we're in the middle. Now let's think about making yourself stand a bit taller. Our spines will have natural curves in them, but let's try and make a bit of space in our spine. So again, if I go sideways, instead of just being here, my shoulders around and a little bit slumped, I'm going to try and lift, like on a puppet on a string, being lifted to the top of my head. Just standing a little bit taller, making space between my bones so that I can just make my body feel lighter and taller. So I've lengthened my spine, my neck to the top of my head. I'm going to give my shoulders a roll back, down and around. And a few of you might think, oh, that front just clicks a little bit. If you've had a busy day at your desk, in the garden, this is a great thing to do. Just finish your day with a few shoulder rolls like this. Eases the tightness in the neck, the back, and just allows our shoulders to just sit back a little bit. So we open across our chest. It allows us to breathe better, stand taller. Lovely. So the next thing for us to do is to then think about what happens in the middle. We've got this lovely, tall, strong posture now. We need to keep it supported. If you put your hands in the centre of your body, find the middle, and then we're just going to put our weight into our toes. So shift your weight to the front of your foot, no weight in your heels. Everything is as you set it up earlier, a little bend in the knees. Now see if you can stand slightly taller. Draw your belly in away from your hands. Keep breathing, but notice you're starting to switch on these muscles in the middle. Let's put our feet flat. Let your toes lift a little bit. Wriggle your toes like you've got little ants under your toes. And now stand up a bit taller. Keep wriggling those toes, but make your belly pull away from your t-shirt. Gives you more support. You're switching on the scaffolding in the middle to support your body. So we'll go back to the toes only, no weight in the heels. We'll stand a bit taller, we'll draw our belly from our t-shirt, and we'll keep breathing. And we'll do it again, we'll go the other way. So we'll find that posture, light wriggle of the toes, stand a bit taller, switch on in the centre. This is our powerhouse. This is our support for the whole of our body. It joins the top to the bottom. Keeps us moving and strong. And we'll do it a couple more times, so switching to the front and the back. And I find myself doing this. I call this post office queue Pilates. When you're standing in the post office queue or the supermarket queue, just switch forwards and backwards. Get these muscles in the middle to tune in and turn on. Breathe. And you'll need to concentrate for the first few times, but it will come naturally. Now I'll add on a challenge. If you want it, when you're up on your toes, hold it there. Can you just blink your eyes, shut your eyes, just briefly? Before you open your eyes, put your feet down, wriggle those toes, stand tall, switch on. Can you shut your eyes here? This is usually a bit easier, breathe. So just do that a few times. Can you switch forwards and backwards, eyes shut? Every toe bearing weight. Try not to let those feet roll out, roll in. The weight is centered on all your toes. You're going from your toes bearing the weight to your toes not bearing any weight. Eyes shut briefly if you can. Just try it one more time each way. Don't forget to breathe. And when you finish on your last one, come back to the center. Okay, so let's make sure we are breathing because breath is really important. To get your breath, put your hands here around the side of your body. And if you can put your thumbs at the back, do that as well. So you've got a light grip on the lower rib cage. See if you can find that lower rib cage. Eyes are shut. Start to take a few big deep breaths. Can you breathe in through your nose and blow out through your mouth? Okay, so feel if there's anything happening in the middle. If you're not sure, open your eyes, look in a mirror. Your focus is to get your breath to be by your hands. Now, if you're looking at yourself in the mirror, is there more breath in your chest, less in your ribs? If there is, just take a few more moments, focus. Can you get that breath into your ribs, expanding, opening through the ribs, through the back, using the muscles in the middle to help us breathe? Shut your eyes if you can, if you've got it. It's tricky to get the breath wide and deep. Lie in bed practice is a great thing to do before you go to sleep. One more time, blow out your breath. Okay, so we're switched on in the centre, we've got our breath. One more thing that's really important to think about, men and women, pelvic floor. Pelvic floor is this sling of muscle that goes underneath our pelvis and helps support everything in the centre. And if we didn't have that pelvic sling, everything would fall out, as it does if you have a prolapse. So it's really important for us to try and find that connection. And that pelvic floor connection starts from your bottom to the front of your pelvic area. You need a light squeeze on your bottom. Just trying to keep that stinky trump in. So do that little squeeze at the back, light squeeze at the front, like you know you need a wee but you can't quite go yet. So pause. Can you find that connection? Again, it should help you stand a little bit taller. Really important, we're lifting internally using those deep pelvic muscles. So we're all connected, centre, breath, pelvic floor, lovely posture, standing tall, smile on our face, we're ready to do Pilates.